of highly contested races on the ballot, and one of those is for the U.S. Senate seat that's currently held by Reverend Warnock. And what we've got this morning, we've got a guest, Latham Saddler, who's one of the many GOP candidates looking to get on that ballot. Good morning, Latham.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all doing?
We're doing fine. Hope you are doing the same. So you're a former Navy SEAL, former intelligence advisor to the president. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. So I'm a proud son of Georgia. Was born in Atlanta. My mom's from a small town very far away from where y'all are in South Georgia called Bainbridge. Went to the University of Georgia, and life was going pretty well. And then 9/11 happened, and it changed my life, as it did all of our lives forever. And it led me on a very long journey to serving in the military as a Navy SEAL. I spent my 20s trying to make myself competitive for the Navy to select me to become an officer and try out for the SEALs. So I went to grad school at Georgia Tech and backpacked all throughout Central Asia and South Asia. I actually backpacked through northern Afghanistan. I learned the local languages, and then got in the best shape of my life. And at the ripe age of 28, the Navy finally selected me and shipped out to SEAL training. And I was the grandpa of my class at 28. I turned 29 while I was in training. And what's neat is I miraculously made it, and I spoke those languages of Farsi, which is what they speak in Iran, and Dari, which is what they speak in Afghanistan. And they deployed me to Afghanistan immediately, and I led a 25-man element in Iraq. And at the end of 2016, I got selected to join the Trump administration as they were forming their national security team in early 2017. I came on board in February to serve as the director for intelligence programs on the National Security Council, which was essentially managing the country's black ops portfolio. Just a fantastic experience. We really put our adversaries on their heels, and proud of the work we did. I wanted to make a career out of the military. I've got a twin brother with Down syndrome who's the closest person in my life. He lives with my folks, and there's going to be a day when he'll come live with my wife and I and our two boys. So I transitioned out of the military after 8 years, and we wanted to raise our boys here in Georgia, and was on the team, the leadership team of Synovus Bank, and then 2020 happened. We all know that we can do better as a country than what we've done these past 18 months, and that's why I jumped into this thing, and we're ready to win this thing back from Warnock next year.
So essentially, when I looked at your website, your platform is divided into three kind of broad categories: security, liberty, and prosperity. Talk a little bit about the security aspect, because I think that's a really good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. So starting with security, obviously as a national security guy, that's going to be a priority for me because it needs to be a priority for our state and our country. I've had the good fortune of serving on both ends of the national security spectrum. One, executing U.S. foreign policy on the ground, like the folks in the SEAL teams do. And then on the other end of that spectrum, at the decision-making table at the White House on the National Security Council. And so I've seen our adversaries firsthand. I've seen the Taliban firsthand. But then I've also seen what our adversaries like China are doing to seek to harm us and overtake us on the world stage. And in the Senate, that's where you can actually move the needle on national security issues, because in a few committees, like the Armed Services Committee, the Select Committee on Intelligence, and the Appropriations Committee, they control the funding and the authorities. And so we've got to modernize our national defense as well as our intelligence capabilities. So that falls under security for me. Patrick, the border, we've got to secure it. I mean, every conservative candidate's going to agree with me on that, but we've got to be intentional about how we do that. We've got to build a wall where we can, but there's also ways around the wall, really under the wall. So we've got to have an ability to stop that. We've got to utilize our next generation technologies to secure our border because, I remind folks, we've got 11 million, the official number, 11 million undocumented folks in this country. It's the real number is more than that, but let's just go with the official number. That's the exact population of our state here in Georgia. just under 11 million. So we've got to secure our border, especially now that we have an Afghanistan that is becoming a terrorist state. And then also we've got to secure our elections. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm speaking to Georgians all throughout the state. We've got to have confidence in our elections again. 202 did a lot in that regard. But the left is flipping it on us, and with the misinformation campaign saying that's voter suppression. And at the end of the day, you and I both know voter suppression is also election insecurity. That is voter suppression.
Sir, if I may, two separate questions here. First of all, since you mentioned Afghanistan again, do you think that war was winnable?
The war was winnable in the sense that it was won. In the first couple of years of the campaign, the objective of the war was to pummel al-Qaeda and the Taliban in response to 9/11. And that's exactly what America did. And then it turned into a much larger venture of a nation-building exercise. And here we are. And that's a critical lesson that we've got to learn from this thing. No more forever wars where we expect to change the DNA of a nation, because you just can't do it. Okay.
Well, back to your campaign and the Congress. What do you think about the divisiveness in Congress right now? Is there any possibility of working together?
You know, I think there is. One of the unique experiences that I had at the White House is after my 18 months on the National Security Council, I stayed on board as a White House fellow, but this time as a civilian. And I was working on all domestic policy issues, and I was part of the team that helped get the First Step Act passed, which was the sweeping criminal justice reform bill. Huge bipartisan achievement by the Trump administration. And, you know, look, I was up there to see, I got to experience how Washington's supposed to work. Under strong, conservative leadership, we brought together a full spectrum of Americans to get that issue across the goal line, and it worked. It was not easy, but it worked. So, yes, Washington can still work, but we need country-first leaders that are willing to put the country before their own careers up there.
Latham, we're controlled by the computer here, and it's about to cut us off, but we appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today. We're going to have to save liberty and prosperity for our next conversation, and we'd like to do that as the campaign goes on. I know your website is lathamsaddler.com. Is that correct?
That's right.
That's where people can find out about you.
That's right. lathamsaddler.com. Please join the mission. And gentlemen, it's an honor to join you this morning. I look forward to doing it again. We'll certainly chat about liberty and prosperity.
Good deal. Thanks for your time.
And Adam Sandler.
Well, he's Sandler. I'm Saddler.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Spell it out.
Take care now.
Thanks, gentlemen.